Hey everyone, if you happen to stumble onto my channel, my name is Marty Bodie. I love Harley Davidson motorcycles, I love Indian motorcycles, so I do a lot of Harley content, a lot of Indian content. I'm also a pastor. Occasionally I'll post spiritual content on YouTube, but I normally just post my spiritual content onto Facebook. As I said, I love Harleys, I love Indians. I've owned, I think, 7 Harley Davidsons over the last 20-something years and 3 Indians. I'm currently back on a Harley Davidson, but I hope maybe next year to buy another Indian and keep my Harley Davidson. Now, my preferred type of Harley or Indian, either one, are the touring bikes, the baggers. I want to be able to ride 800 miles in a day and be relatively comfortable. So my 24 Street Glide I have owned now for 5 months. I have 6,200 miles, and so I've had to spend some time with it. I know what I like, and it's a great motorcycle. But there are some things that I am disappointed with. There's some things I don't like. There's one thing that I absolutely despise about this motorcycle. There's one thing that I actually hate, but as you might imagine, I'm going to save that till the end. So let me do a quick walk around, and I'll tell you about some of my disappointments, dislikes, and then the one thing I despise about this particular motorcycle. So let me start at the front. I am very disappointed. This is just a disappointment. I'm disappointed that this motorcycle has a fixed windshield. I know you folks that ride nothing but Harleys think, what? A fixed windshield? When they leaked the photos of the 23 CVO and I saw the way it was bolted on, I just knew it was going to be an electric windshield. I spent 4.5 years on an Indian Roadmaster with an electric windshield, and contrary to what some may say, I've seen some social media YouTube folks, creators saying, oh, it's probably a gimmick. It's not a gimmick. That electric windshield is the real deal. It would not have been hard for them to have mounted a little electric motor somewhere to raise and lower the windshield. So it is a disappointment. I have put the taller windshield on, but again, that's just a disappointment. This is kind of just a little bit of a dislike. I like the fact that the motorcycle has liquid cooled heads, but the little overflow reservoir there looks kind of goofy. Yeah, it's kind of a nitpicky thing. Another thing I kind of dislike is if you get the chrome model, they put a splash of orange on the tank badge. If you get the blacked out version, this is black. So I think I'm going to get the touch-up paint and mask it off and get a little paintbrush and paint the orange. To me, the orange is just out of place. Again, you know, that's kind of nitpicky. Pretty serious disappointment for me is the sound system. This is the worst stereo of any motorcycle, any touring motorcycle I have ever owned. Putting the tall windshield on helped, but over about, certainly when you get up to 70, I mean, you can hear it with it pretty much all the way up, but barely. I mean, you can just barely hear the sound system, which when you look at how much these motorcycles cost, that's really unacceptable. So I'm probably gonna go and buy the upgraded amplifier for about 600 bucks, the upgraded speakers for another 400 bucks, plus pay somebody to put it on. That is a major disappointment. So those are really the only, and you can say, well, the radio's nitpicky, but not really. It's a touring bike. You know, it's nice to be able to go down the highway and hear your external speakers. So that's a pretty good disappointment. But then the one thing I absolutely despise that I think is a safety issue. Let me get on the bike and I'll show you what it is. And it is the location of the horn button. Now you're probably going, the horn? Really? That's the one thing I hate? The one thing I despise is the location of the horn button? But absolutely. I mean, that's a safety issue. More than once, somebody started drifting into my lane. I'm grabbing the brakes, grabbing the clutch, trying to honk the horn, and where I ride, you know, an emergency situation, I'm grabbing the brakes, grabbing the clutch, and guess what? I can't quite reach the horn button. The horn button is here. Why they didn't put it here or here and put one of these there, I have no idea, because in an emergency situation, I'm not reaching. I mean, I would really, to really reach it and then grab the clutch is quite a stretch. But I've complained about this horn location being a safety issue, but I was thinking about what I was going to say on this video, and I was riding a while ago thinking of, you know, how I can't reach it, and I discovered something. Let me wake the bike up. So obviously right there is the horn location. You push down, it honks. Okay, well, in an emergency situation, I'm grabbing here, I can't reach it. So while I was riding, thinking about what I was going to say and thinking about how I can't reach it, I accidentally pushed from underneath the blinker indicator up, out, instead of down. Obviously down to put the blinker on, down to disengage blinker. Of course, they're self-canceling. But if you have your thumb under here, you can actually push back toward yourself and it honks the horn. So, let me kill the radio here. I just complained about the radio sounds good at sitting still, actually running around in town, up to about 60. It's over 60 that it is. So now I've got to do some muscle memory where if I'm grabbing brake and clutch, instead of trying to reach up here, which would be the logical place for the horn, I'll have to put my thumb under that lip, and guess what? I can't honk the horn. So I've been saying Harley needs to move the location, which makes sense, because who would have thought going backward with the blinker, because we're used to, you know, pushing down, turn the blinker on. If you need to cancel them yourself, pushing down on the horn, but who would have thought that you could pull back this direction and the horn would honk. So I discovered a solution to my gripe. It's just, I have to remember an emergency situation to grab my clutch, reach under and push back, which, you know, we're just so used to pushing down that that's going to take a little while to get used to. That's my biggest gripe still, because if I hadn't have accidentally discovered that, because I've already had a couple, 3 times somebody drifting in my lane, I'm grabbing the clutch, getting on the brake, and by the time I get over onto the horn, I'm kind of letting go of the clutch, and by then the near disaster has been avoided, and I'm getting on the horn and the event's over, and the people that cut me off are looking around like, what am I honking about? So those are the things I do not like about the bike, all but the horn, I think, and the stereo. I think the stereo, you know, Harley, put the better amplifier and the speakers in its stock. If you want to, you know, charge extra for an upgrade for your sound system, it could be, you know, saddlebag speakers and those things. But the speakers that come in the fairing need to be much, and the amplifier need to be the best you can offer, in my opinion, on these prices. You know, you're wanting to sell these as premium motorcycles, and they are. This is probably nothing. This is the best Harley Davidson I've ever owned. The improvements over the previous generation Street Glide, incredible. And actually, if you look at the features you get on this bike standard compared to the Street Glide Special, they actually lowered the price a little bit this year. But those are the things I don't like. I'd like to know what you ride. If there's certain things you don't like about your bike, or some of them nitpicky, or some of them serious complaints. For me, the things I don't like about this motorcycle are not a deal breaker, but you know, there are some little things that can always be improved on any motorcycle. But overall, I do like the bike, but I just thought I'd share with you some things that I do not like. And if you like to ride as much as you can, because one day we're all going to be too old to ride.